Hello and welcome
Jeremiah,
to 4 Yards of Football,
he
Sports
coming up.
Talk Radio. I'm your producer, Jeremiah Long, and joining us live to talk about the Chicago Bears is Mr. Football himself, Vincent Turner, and our very special guest. I'm going to pull down the thing so you can see everybody's names. Dylan Davis. How's it going, guys?
Hey, how we doing? How we doing?
Excellent, excellent.
Hey,
Without
how you
further ado,
doing? How you
yeah, absolutely. Well, without further ado, I'm going to let you guys take it over and tell us what do we have to look forward to from the Chicago Bears this season.
Okay, Jeremiah was having a little technical difficulty here on Yards Football this morning, but as you saw him, he's our great producer. And we're going to get right into it as we're going to have our team preview today as we're going to preview the Chicago Bears. And joining me is a young man that played football at a high level. And please remember his name because he's going to be coming back. He's special. He comes out of one of the most football-rich communities in Metro Atlanta, out of the Tucker community. He played at Tucker High School. Numerous NFL players. My man, Mr. Dylan Day, doing this morning.
How we doing? How we doing? I'm grateful to be on here. I'm very grateful, and like you said, I come from one of the greatest communities in the state of Georgia and out of the country. We have produced so many players to go to the next level and hit each level and just be great at it. And I'm great to be part of that. I was gladly and very happy to be part of that process. And I just try and keep doing it myself as a coach. I try and keep it going.
Okay, man. Well, let's break down the Chicago Bears today. Let's give the people out there the 2021 team preview. When I think about the Chicago Bears, man, it's a team dear to my heart because you want to know why? Today we had Father's Day, right?
Yes, sir.
And my father, who I look up to, who brought me to be a man I am, Mr. Chester Turner, much love to you down in the 901. The Chicago Bears is his favorite team. And you want to know, back in 1959, he almost thought about moving to the Windy City. But for other reasons, he didn't. So I was born in Memphis, Tennessee, a year later in 1960. But I watched him follow the Bears. And when you think about the Chicago Bears history, you got to think about Willie Gallimore, Florida A&M finest. The Kansas Comet, Garrett Sayers. Then you got to think about Bill George, linebacker U, Dick Buckus, Mike Singletary. Oh, my God. And just everything. And my daddy's favorite player was a young man out of Columbia, Mississippi, by way of Jackson State. I'm not even going to say his two names, his two words of his name. I'm going to say one word. And he was a king before Michael Jordan got on the scene. Sweetness, Jackson State finest, Walter Payton. So, Mr. Davis, let's talk about the Chicago Bears from an offensive standpoint. What about this year with the Bears?
This year coming up, I see Chicago Bears doing great things on offense. With them drafting Justin Fields, them drafting 2 more offensive linemen to keep up that protection that they need from the front line. I feel like the front line is going to be great. They might have one of the top front lines in the NFL. Running scheme is going to be great. Justin Fields, he's a 2-way quarterback. He can throw and he can run. The question is, will Justin Fields be able to run in the NFL? We're not talking about these cats that played in college and these corners that were being able to be shifty, be able to catch up with him, but can you stop him before he even gets to where he needs to go outside that pocket to be able to hit it, and he can't go anywhere? That's the question. But will Justin Fields be able to do it? I think he can. Throwing, he has an eye. I watched Justin Fields come from out of the state of Georgia, go to Georgia, and then to transfer to Ohio State. I saw the transitions, and the transitions that I've seen him grow into, they all been great. So him being with the Chicago Bears, his targets, he has very great targets. So I see him doing very good things with Chicago, as long as he stays as the mindset of I am the QB1, and I'm going to make sure that this team right here goes to the championship. I think it'll be great.
Well, what I'm going to say about first of all, I'm going to say for Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace. Matt Nagy being the head coach, Ryan Pace being the GM. Thing when you look at him, Matt Nagy has been 28-20 in his 3 years in the playoffs. 2 out of 3 years he's been there. But however, the clock is ticking on y'all. The pressure is on. You can't be mediocre in the city. The fan base wants results. And at the end of the day, my question is, Andy Dalton, you got him as a guy that's going to be a fill-in gap. But how long are you going to wait to put Justin Fields on the field? And my thing is that Justin Fields, when you look at him, why is he not starting as number one? Because all I remember about Justin Fields, everybody was talking about from a standpoint, he was a second-round pick. He was this. But in that national championship semifinal game, 22-28, 385, 6 touchdowns. He fell in the draft. He's got things in Chicago on the offensive side of the ball that's special. He got David Montgomery, who's I call Mr. Tackle Breaker at the running back position, over 1,000 yards. They signed Damian Williams in free agency. Last year, Damian Williams, he won 38 yards for a touchdown in the Super Bowl against Frisco. Then I'm not even going to talk about the receiving core. Allen Robinson, like him or not, whatever, beast, top 5 elite. Donnell Mooney is special. Marquise Goodwin is special. Delane Bird is special. 4x100 speed now. Then you got Jimmy Graham. I call it red zone magic.
And I
he
forgot
still
all
got
about
that magic.
Yeah.
8 touchdowns last year. But I didn't even stop there. I hope my man out of Orange Mound. And you know, Mr. Dillon, I love people from Memphis. Anthony Miller got in there as a rookie and did his thing, but he took a step back. Anthony Miller, man, they got you on the trading block. But you got to represent. You got to represent and be better this year because it's competition. But the offensive line, I think, where the Bears are going to really be. Why I can't understand why y'all waiting on Justin Fields. Go and put him under the center. You drafted a young man. That's nasty.
Exactly.
That's great. Exactly. That's got that Conrad Dobler in him. You got Kevin Jenkins out of Oklahoma State, who went in the second round, but he's upset because he didn't get that first round money. He's a player. James Daniels is coming back healthy. Cody Whitehair is special. So my question to you, Mr. Dillon, why are the Bears waiting and don't go out there and say Justin Fields is going to be our man?
They want to make sure they're securing every box. And you know, with a lot of the new and the young quarterbacks coming in, they have to make sure that they're checking every box. It's not when Michael Vick and them came through. It's a total different scheme now. These quarterbacks are changing the game. They're changing the game. When we come to Lamar Jackson, when we come to Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray, they are changing the game into something totally different. When you look at a Kyler Murray or a Patrick Mahomes and you look at a Tom Brady and a Drew Brees, they're 2 total different quarterbacks. 2 total different quarterbacks. And what I mean by that is you barely see Tom Brady running the ball. You're not going to see Tom Brady with rushing yardage. It's not. If he has rushing yardage, he might have no more than 40 yards rushing the whole season because he doesn't need to run. But now with these young quarterbacks, what they're trying to do is they're trying to make sure they put key components around these quarterbacks that can run, that can block for them, and can go down the field. That's the reason why I tell people all the time with these offensive linemen, you got to be big, but you got to be fast. A lot of the offensive linemen are not taking the transition that they need to. And what I mean by that is, it's cool to pass block, but the pass blocking is going away. You're not just gonna be pass blocking every play. That is going away. It's time to climb. It's time to get to the next level. So trying to get to the next level, you got to be fast and you got to be swift. And with having a quarterback like Justin Fields, he has to have an offensive line that's swift. And the offensive line that's there right now, do I feel like they're swift? They are. Do I feel like they can protect Justin Fields the way that he needs to be protected? Most definitely. Most definitely.
Okay, let's talk about the Bears defense. Let's talk about the Bears. The Bears defense.
The Bears defense. Bears defense has been holding them down since Khalil Mack has came to the scene. Since Khalil Mack has came to the scene, Chicago Bears defense has been holding it down. When we're talking about Khalil Mack, Raekwon Smith, talking about Hicks. I mean, their defense is stacked. From defensive line all the way to their secondary, it's stacked. Getting to watch them on defense is something totally different. Because it looks like the old Chicago Bears when Brian Urlacher was there. When Brian Urlacher used to have that defense center, have every eye was on the ball. Nobody could really go and do anything with that defense and say, yo, their defense is immaculate. Their defense is on key. The key components for their defense this year will be press, and press. If they press like they did last year, their defense might just I'll put it like this. I'm gonna put it this way. Their defense will not let no more than 20 points per game. They won't give up 20 points, no more than 20 points per game. If they press the way they did last year and do it better than last year, honestly, because when you have a linebacker core like that, with Raekwon Smith playing defensive end and playing outside linebacker, you have Khalil Mack playing defensive end, but can play linebacker scheme and can play Mike and outside linebacker. When you can switch up your defensive lineman and your linebackers like that, they're hybrids, and a hybrid is a killer. And they have killers on their team. So the defense, I'm looking at top 5 defense in the NFL.
When I think about the Bears defense, I think, of course, you just mentioned, I think they got the potential of being top 5, but I'm going to start with the D-line. Akeem Hicks has been a very special player for him for the last 6 years, Pro Bowl finalists. Last step back because they didn't have Eddie Goldman there out of Florida State finalists. He opted out for the 2019 COVID situation, but Eddie Goldman is coming back. So then when you look at all line, it's going to be real solid. But for me, Khalil Mack is what Khalil Mack. Pro Bowl player, 6 times straight Pro Bowler, 17.5 sacks over the last 2 years, triple team, double team. He's a generational talent. But what I was disappointed, Robert Quinn took a step back. He got $30 million guaranteed. He didn't play at a high level. He only got 2 sacks when he had 11.5 in Dallas. So, Mr. Robert Quinn, you playing in the Windy City. Well, defense is a law of history. As my man, Mr. Dylan Davis said, Brian Urlacher, Mike Singletary, help me out, Jesus, Bill George, Dick Buckets. So, Robert Quinn, you didn't do what you were supposed to do. But it's all right. Because when you're looking at the linebacker position, one thing I thought this young man wouldn't be a special player. But when I'm talking about right now, I'm going to put him in there. I know a lot of people talk about all these other linebackers out here, Devin White, Dante Hightower, one in Frisco. But Raekwon Smith right now is 1 or 2 in the league right now. Elite out of the University of Georgia. He's starting to be what I call a warrior. And you know my saying, he's a warrior. Warriors come out to play. 138 tackles, 18 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, 6 quarterback hits, 4 forced fumbles. He is the epitome of the Chicago Bears defense. But for the Chicago Bears defense to take it to another level, the secondary got to step up. They lost Al Fuller in free agency. He was a special player. He's over in Denver now. Couldn't pay him. Hey, at the other end, Jalen Johnson out of Fresno, University of Utah, played real well as a rookie. 50 passes defense, but he got hurt last year. But I think he's going to come back. They got a very special playmaker, Eddie Jackson out of the University of Alabama, is one of the most special playmakers out there. For round pick, Pro Bowl. But for me, for the Bears to keep that defensive transition going, the young man out of Washington who played here local Atlanta Falcons played pretty well with the Detroit Lions until he got hurt. That's when True Fun got to get back when he was with the Falcons and he was playing at a Super Bowl level. If that happens, the Chicago Bears can be very special from a defensive standpoint. But Mr. Dylan Davis, your final words, how well will the Chicago Bears be overall in 2021?
Chicago Bears overall 2021 year, I see them going to the playoffs, and they have a chance to compete for the Super Bowl. As long as the defense do what they do every Sunday, like they say, it's any given Sunday. It's any given Sunday. But as long as the Chicago Bears stay consistent on defense and on offense, they make the right decisions, they have a chance. They have a chance to contend for the doggone national championship, for the Super Bowl. And honestly, they could be one of my favorite teams this year. After doing a lot of looking and doing a lot of searching, they could be one of my favorite teams this year. And it's kind of crazy me saying that, but it's possible. It's possible because I see great things. I see great things coming for them.
Okay, Mr. Davis, I'd like to say thank you. As I always end all these great videos, I have a final saying about the Chicago Bears 2021. My first saying is that don't wait too long and getting Justin Fields out there on the field.
Most definitely.
I don't want to see the Bears get out to this a slow start. You 2-3, you backpedaling, then all of a sudden you're gonna put them in under all that pressure. Well, now you expecting him to jobs. My thing is have a young man out of Kennesaw, Georgia, by way of Harrison High School, have him ready to go. Because if you do, it's gonna go back to like it was back when the Bears were in '85 and all back into Chicago in the history of Willie Gallimore, Gary Sayers, Walter Payton. Well, I'm going to end it today with a song by the band Chicago. And when everything is going well in Chicago, they had a hit out called Saturday in the Park. I think it was the 4th of July. People dancing, people laughing. Better Justin Fields, because that can be happening in Chicago this year.
Yes, sir.
If you like the video today, please comment and share it. Thank you for Mr. Dylan Davis joining me from Tucker, Georgia. Thank you to our Mr. Jeremiah Long. We are 100 Yards Football. Fantastic morning. Go Bears.
Yes, sir.